At some point in their life cycle, countries that have aspirations to rapidly develop will find it beneficial to develop a Center of Excellence, or COE. Priorities of a COE span several areas and are expected to change over time. Nonetheless, the fundamental principles of the COE should be clear and consistent. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, led by Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro, established 12 pioneer centers of excellence in 12 reputable early generation universities in Nigeria to build research and development competencies in 12 key areas.
12 institutions are represented by their heads here today. North Central, there are two, of course. The University of Abuja is to host the Center of Excellence, TETFund Center of Excellence in Public Governance and Leadership. The second one in the North Central Zone is the University of Jos. TETFund Center of Excellence in Food Security, the Northeast. We have the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, Center of Excellence on Food Security. The emphasis is on dairy research and development. The second one is the University of Maiduguri, TETFund Center of Excellence in Arid Zone Research and Development. Northwest, Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, TETFund Center of Excellence in Urology and Nephrology. The second one in Northeast, of course, is the Center of Excellence in Renewable Energy. Bayero University Kano has the largest solar facility. Southeast, Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike. TETFund Center of Excellence in Root Crop Research and Development. The second one in the Southeast is Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka. TETFund Center of Excellence in Agriculture and Engineering Translational Studies. South, University of Benin, Center of Excellence in Aquaculture and Food Science and Technology. The second one in the South is University of Uyo, TETFund Center of Excellence in Computational Intelligence. Southwest, finally, the first is the University of Ibadan, TETFund Center of Excellence in Multidisciplinary Studies. The University of Lagos, Center of Excellence in Biodiversity, Conservation, and Ecosystem Management. With these words, I am pleased to congratulate the first TCOE beneficiary institutions, and we expect you to take over and ensure the strengthening and sustainability of the centers beyond the year 2020. Once more, congratulations. I wish you every success in the undertaking, and thank you very much for listening. God bless you.
According to TETFund's action plan, these centers are not to stand alone. There is a nexus between them and the TETFund Standing Committee on Research and Development, which would guarantee funding and sustainability.
The centers are there to advance knowledge. They are there to research into anything with regards to that area of specialization. They are there to provide information, new research findings. They are there to come up with novel ideas. R&D Foundation is there to provide funding for uptake of meaningful research into innovation and into patenting into commercialization. So whatever the centers of excellence are able to come up with, it may be of no use if you have not got an institution or some funding support that will help uptake that finding research into commercialization.
Root crops are important sources of food, feed, and starch in Nigeria. About 500,000 hectares of agricultural land are devoted to root agricultural production annually. Root crops contribute 4% of gross value added from agriculture. These crops have broad adaptability, which allows them to produce even under unfavorable conditions and contribute to food security, equity, poverty alleviation, and environmental protection.
As subsistence as our agriculture is, despite our lackadaisical attitude and the challenges, including limitation in technology deployment, you agree with me that when it comes to tuber crops, Nigeria is still having position in the world. Mentioned cassava, I don't think we are less than number 1 or number 2. Mentioned the issue of yam, the same thing. Only that, yes, you could have yams that are from Nigeria, smuggled to Ghana, branded as a Ghanaian product, and you buy it as a product of Ghana in the US. So, those are kind of things that are crazy. And we are looking at the R&D around this. Why is it that when you have a product in the US and it says from Ghana, people rush into it, and when they say this one is from Nigeria, you see a lot of people that are not interested? Why? And when you trace the source, it could be a Benue yam.
The Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike, is TETFund's Center of Excellence for Root Crop Research and Development.
First and foremost, it's a University of Agriculture, and secondly, the Southeast is known for root crops. Cassava, gari, for example, is a staple food in the entire Southeast. So it's only appropriate that you connect with the environment.
This TCOE is to research into genetic improvement, production, processing, storage of root and tuber crops of economic importance like yam, cassava, potato, sweet potato, cocoyam, ginger, Hausa potato, sugar beet, radish, rizga, and amora.
Why we are looking at R&D in that aspect is that we have a comparative and competitive edge. Comparative advantage, competitive edge originally. It's only for us to add small value and amplify that and get to the next level. We were just talking today and during our technical session, and we got to know that people are actually coming to this country to take a tuber crop that is in the wild. Are you getting it? And has enough energy that they are consuming highly in the pharmaceutical industry to replace cassava as a binder for drugs, including paracetamol that you take. And it's actually growing in the wild in Nigeria. And people can't know. We don't know. So, Multidisciplinary Studies University of Agriculture is there already. So, taking a center of excellence there and the areas of root and tuber crop will be the perfect solution, because we have an existing research institute that is already having that mandate, and we have a university that is completely on agriculture. So instead of us now saying, okay, we still want to go and reinvent the wheel, that is the wisdom behind that. Take the expert, take the center of excellence, make these two guys become excellent in this area. If Nigeria is going to be number one on this, particularly on yam now, let us sustain and maintain that number one with pride, with a large gap to the next person.
Additionally, the TCOE carries out research into the execution of agricultural extension services in liaison with relevant federal and state agencies.
I've seen cassava from Fiji. If you are able to invest money there, the university should be able to provide community service, for example. Should be able to provide extension service, using the center, so that farmers will benefit more. There has to be a link between society and the university. We said it before.
Today, more than ever before, mankind is investing more time and money into the effort to build on basic scientific research to create new therapies, medical procedures, or diagnostics. Food and healthcare are now more closely studied as interrelated subjects. Basic findings in a laboratory setting connected to these are translated into treatments for disease.
You agree with me today that if anybody does not understand what all biomedical is all about, you understand it from the perspective of COVID-19. For the first time in the whole world, we are looking at mRNA vaccine. We've been talking about biotechnology. People don't play it in this country. For the first time, they are using this technology to produce vaccine. So biomedical is looking at how you combine the biology of a system of a being and its medical. It's leading to a lot of precision medicine, individualized medicine, personal medicine, in such a way that if a drug is given to you, the way it's going to react to you is different from mine.
Translational research is defined for school-based education by the Education Futures Collaboration as research which translates concepts to the classroom practice. Translational research applies findings from basic research to enhance human health and well-being. The endpoint of translational research is the production of a promising new treatment that can be used with practical applications that can then be used clinically or able to be commercialized.
If you take the correct food, it's like you are taking your drug. Because food is actually closing a lot of gap of drug. If you fail in taking quality good and foods, you are going to be taking a lot of drug. So in that, we are looking at that integration to look at, okay, what is typical in the Southeast. Biomedical, we are looking at it at translational research, where you do a research that you can actually translate to outcomes in biomedical and the agricultural system.
By 2030, 62% of all seafood produced for human consumption will come from aquaculture. Today, it's about 50%. Aquaculture is breeding, raising, and harvesting fish, shellfish, and aquatic plants. Basically, it's farming in water. Research and development in aquaculture creates an environmentally responsible source of food and commercial products. It also helps to create healthier habits and is used to rebuild stocks of threatened and endangered species.
Benin is uniquely situated, and they have the experts actually in aquaculture that can do it, and also the environment. You know, we looked at that. They have comparative advantage, and that this is an area that we really we are lacking in this country. And if we want to move forward, we have to, just as you are thinking about large ruminants and small ruminants, you have to also think about aquaculture, you know, fish farming, and so on and so forth. But how do we do it? You cannot do it without knowledge.
Generally, there are 4 stages of the production chain, starting in hatcheries, moving to the feed mills, then onto farms, and ending at the seafood counter in your grocery store. The first stage in the aquaculture production chain is the hatchery. This is where the breeding of fish, hatching of eggs, and rearing through the early stages happens. Once the animals are mature enough, they are transferred to the farm, where they are grown to harvest size using feed produced at feed mills. The fish are then transported to a processing facility where they are packaged and sent to food retailers and grocery stores. That's where you come in. Given that overfishing of our oceans and other natural resources is continuously increasing year over year, humans need alternative sources of seafood to feed the planet's ever-growing population. Unfortunately, the days of the ocean's natural productivity providing for the planet are over. Wild fish have been exploited for generations. Not only is aquaculture necessary, it is also a sustainable option for consumers, especially in comparison to other farmed proteins. Computational science and engineering, CSE, is an exciting and rapidly evolving field that exploits the power of computation as an approach to major challenges at the frontiers of natural and social science and engineering fields. Computational intelligence is the theory, design, and application and development of biologically and linguistically motivated computation paradigms. Traditionally, the 3 main pillars of CI have been neural networks, fuzzy systems, and evolutionary computation. Neural networks. Using the human brain as a source of inspiration, artificial neural networks are massively parallel distributed networks that have the ability to learn and generalize from examples. Fuzzy systems. Using the human language as a source of inspiration, fuzzy systems model linguistic imprecision and solve uncertain problems based on a generalization of traditional logic, which enables us to perform approximate reasoning. Evolutionary computation. Using the biological evolution as a source of inspiration, Evolutionary computation solves optimization problems by generating, evaluating, and modifying a population of possible solutions.
So we have a lot to learn if we are to move forward. In terms of security, ICT is very, very key. In terms of communication, ICT is very key. In terms of today, even learning, knowledge, ICT has become a process, if you like, through which we achieve everything in life. So we cannot but try also to establish a center that handles this area.
With the complexity of Nigeria's economic challenges, a computational approach is needed more than ever before, particularly to meet economic needs of a young generation. Computational economics uses computer-based economic modeling for the solution of analytically and statistically formulated economic problems. The scientific objective of the method is to test theoretical findings against real-world data in ways that permit empirically supported theories to culminate over time, with each research building on the work before. The University of Uyo is saddled with this daunting task in the face of many who are skeptical that Nigeria can be a leader in artificial intelligence and computational science.
With the competencies that we have seen in the University of Uyo, then it is right for us to actually come up as a country that we have a center of excellence that is looking into the technology of the future. For us in Africa, technology of the future. For the other world, is the technology of today. Because if you go to Walmart and some other places in the US now, when you want to do your shopping, it happens to me. I got to the US around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and I did my shopping within 1 hour without talking to a single human being. I don't even see a human being there. And that is the difference between just a market and an economy. An economy doesn't sleep. What we have in Africa, particularly in my country, there, Nigeria, is just a market. I do say it to people, but people might not understand. It's market that's open and close. An economy doesn't sleep. That's why, if you have used half-life, let's take it scientifically now. You've used your half-life of a full potential to work on things and achieve X amount. If you have doubled it, you are going to have 2X. That's mathematical. So in economy where they run for 24 hours, you don't expect that economy to be the same size as an economy that runs for 12 hours or 8 hours. People work for 8 hours in this country. The economy or the market we say we have works maximally, maybe 12, 7 to 7. Everybody is dark, we go and sleep. And you want to compete with somebody that works 24 hours? So it is through artificial intelligence, technology like that, that economies that runs on 24 hours. Because human nature cannot be cheated. You can't say you want to be alive and alighted for the next 24 hours. You need to sleep, but machine doesn't sleep. So in this, it is critical for us to be looking at that direction if eventually we want to have an economy that will be globally competitive and can run 24 hours, possibly. If Nigeria can run 24 hours for 1 year, I can assure you we are going to double our GDP.
Education, like almost every other aspect of life, is not static. For it to remain relevant and effective, it must evolve with societal needs. One of the greatest challenges of parenting is that if one raises and educates a child in the exact same manner he or she was raised, they may find that they are raising the child for a world that no longer exists. In today's world, a multidisciplinary approach, which allows students much flexibility in designing degree programs that relate to their personal, academic, and career goals, is what best prepares them for industry once they graduate. Nigeria's premier ivory tower, the University of Ibadan, is TETFund's Center of Excellence on Multidisciplinary Studies. The modern method applied by the university permits an interdisciplinary approach to education, allowing students the opportunity to acquire a well-rounded educational background and problem-solving skills. The objectives of the program are to develop students that have a solid foundation in the content material of 3 different disciplines while being skilled in communication, critical thinking, and analysis, investigating and solving problems, managing tasks, and relating to others. The program allows students to develop academic themes or topics that fall outside the usual disciplinary boundaries.
The world doesn't operate in silos. Even the SDGs, they are all interlinked and interrelated. If you are carrying out any meaningful research nowadays in developed world, it may be carrying out research on medicine, but they will ask you, why are the lawyers? Why are the sociologists? Why are the historians? Where are these? You know, so in every single research today, you have people from different, not only different, from disciplines, varying disciplines, coming together to produce a report or to carry out a study that looks into all perspectives. So that by the time, for example, the outcome, you know, by the time you produce a result, it must have addressed all other concerns.
Biodiversity conservation is vital for economic growth and poverty reduction. A majority of the world's poor live in rural areas and depend upon forests, water, wetlands, fields, and pastures for their livelihoods. Some 1.6 billion people in the world rely on forests and non-timber products for outcome and subsistence. In the developing world alone, 2.6 billion people depend on fisheries for protein and livelihoods. Seafood is also the most highly traded food commodity internationally. In 2008, fish and shellfish exports from developing countries exceeded the value of coffee, rubber, cocoa, tea, tobacco, meat, and rice combined. Food security depends upon natural resources that form the basis of food production. Biodiversity conservation protects plant, animal, microbial, and genetic resources for food production, agriculture, and ecosystem functions, such as fertilizing the soil, recycling nutrients, regulating pests and disease, controlling erosion, and pollinating crops and trees. At the same time, unsustainable agriculture production and use of wild species for food or fuel can reduce biodiversity. The University of Lagos TETFund Center of Excellence on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Management was chosen for its unique position located in Lagos, a city with an Atlantic Ocean coastline, intriguing ambience, and ultra-modern vibe. Lagos State itself is named the Center of Excellence.
So that particular center will be looking at conservation of a lot of genetic resources and everything that we can conserve. Like I've just mentioned, we have a lot of crops that are going into extinction. Go and look at Lake Chad. In the US, we use it exceptionally for examples when it comes to the issue of global climate change. We have lost a whole biodiversity in there. A lot of our children, we only know Kuri breed of cow by picture, because what we have in population that is remaining is less than 1,000. And when you have that, it's like it has gone to extinction or on a red list that we call an endangered list. So a lot of things are going out in the system like that, unknowingly, including plants, including animals, including the marine resources. So that particular center, what we are looking at is to make sure that we want to start up and say, come on, we can't continue this way. We need to be keeping the best of our best genetic resources. We need to conserve them, either in situ, by making sure that we keep them in the laboratories at a particular degree of temperature that will make them to be like that for the numbers of years. We look at elite animals, elite crop, and conserve them so that we will not lose them. So it is only when you are regenerating the elite one that your general population will be improving. And that's why that center in conservation now, they can keep straight things. This is A, this is B. Deliberately, we can now go to that places. Oh, we need to mix A. We need a genetic resource of A and mix it with C. It's the one that usually gives us the best. We can now do selective breeding. We can talk about precision breeding. We can talk about application of advanced technology in assisted reproduction.
TETFund Centers of Excellence operate across various fields with a focus on providing thought leadership and direction, establishing and promoting best practices, research and development to provide appropriate recommendations and support education. Each of these are critical aspects for the success of the overall sustenance of the nation's knowledge economy. In addition to core focus areas, the TCOEs also add value by contributing to optimizing unique knowledge or skills and streamlining their contribution across a wide range of areas, reducing delivery times and maintenance costs by increasing efficiencies, and identifying and reducing duplication of effort by improving technology. And that is the paradigm shift.